I don't know if anybody watched last night's debate. It got very big ratings. And you know what? Mini Mike didn't do well last night. How about Klobuchar? Did you see her? She choked. She choked. She couldn't breathe. Alfred E. Newman looked at her and said something slightly derogatory. And she said, "Are you accusing me of being dumb?"
Well, can't get enough of it, really. That was the president railing against the Democrats and their debate. Katie Walsh is with us, RNC Data Manager. Katie, the president's style clearly fires up his base. But do you think it might alienate some independents or some suburban women, do you think?
Well, I think the important thing to think about is that he goes to these rallies to talk to his base and his supporters, exactly what you've talked about. What doesn't get covered as much are the things he does when he's traveling to these states after or before these rallies. For example, he gave the commencement address for the Hope for Prisoners event in Las Vegas yesterday. Last week after the New Hampshire rally, he flew to Dover to receive the remains of 2 fallen soldiers from Afghanistan. And so what you see there are events that middle America, suburban women, independent voters do like about this president. And so whether it's, you know, a factory worker in Michigan that was worried about his job going away, an Iowa farmer worried about the trade deals bankrupting their farm, or perhaps a young man or woman who's had a hard time getting on their feet, maybe spent time behind bars, all these people have seen in the last 3 years that the president's working for them. He's out there every day, cares about them. And that's the reason I believe the president will win re-election.
OK, just let me talk for a moment about money raising, because Elizabeth Warren, she says she raised a lot of money right after the debate. Have you got a number for me?
Yeah, $2.8 million. In fact, at one point, one of her staffers says she took in $450,000, almost $500,000, during a 30-minute spell during that debate, which is pretty impressive. Bernie Sanders was the other one of the debate crew there that did well on fundraising. But by the way, talking of fundraising, Elizabeth Warren has been very critical of big money behind candidates and candidates who accept big money. Guess what? She's changed her mind. She is now taking super PAC support. It's a super PAC called Persist, and it has been formed to support her presidential run. It happened so quickly that her website is still criticizing anyone that takes super PAC money, so they didn't get the website changed in time. But I guess it's if you can't beat them, join them.
If you want to stay in the race, you've got to take the money where it comes from.
It.
Kind of desperation, I think. Now, Katie, back to you, please. The DNC raised, what was it, $15 million last month.
Yeah, an embarrassing number.
You got that in nice, embarrassing low. The RNC and Trump brought in $60 million, but I put it to you, Bloomberg, it doesn't matter how much he brings in, he's got $60 billion to spend. You know, worry about that?
I don't. I think, you know, we talked about this on the show previously, and one of the things, you know, money is a very necessary resource in politics as it relates to television advertising, digital advertising, but what it can't buy you is a movement. And what you see at these rallies every day that the president's at is a movement. And so whether Michael Bloomberg puts $100 million, $200 million, $300 million on television, the president will have those resources, as you just talked about with the RNC and the campaign being well funded. But additionally, and arguably more importantly, he's got over 500,000 volunteers out there working right now for him for free. Michael Bloomberg doesn't have that. Elizabeth Warren doesn't have that. There aren't movements behind those candidates.
Did you see that on election day, the president has bought an ad that will appear on everybody's YouTube? So if you tune into YouTube on election day, up pops the president with a campaign ad. Were you behind that?
No, Brad Parscale, Gary Coby, and the RNC really do a lot of the strategy on that. And the president himself, to be honest with you, the president's his own strategist. He knows better than anyone how to talk to these voters and how he wants to do it. So I defer that to them, but we do help with the data modeling to try and target those voters specifically and make sure that the right people are seeing the right video.
Yeah, you get all the data from all these rallies, don't you? That's
we
you.
Do.
That's what you do.
Yeah, while the campaign and the RNC work together to make sure that every single person that even wants to go to a rally, even applies for a ticket, we have to get their phone number and the email address, and that's really helpful for us.
So you know who's out there, and you can get hold of them and contact them.
Exactly. Get them to donate, get them to volunteer.
And 20% of them are Democrats, right?
Yeah, on average, 20% are Democrats, which is an astounding number. People over and over again, when I talk about that, really don't believe it. And I think it goes to the point I talked about earlier, which is these people are feeling and seeing what the president's doing for the everyday American that felt left behind for 8 years under President Obama. And they're saying, look, this left-wing media is trying to beat up on the president and trying to, you know, make a big deal about maybe a comment he made here or there. But here's what I know: my 401k is better. I have a job, and I feel like this president's out there working for me.
Okay. Katie Walsh, I think you're on a roll, and thanks for joining us this morning. We
Thanks
appreciate
for having me.